The following is a presentation of the Fairfax Network.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos. Hello, welcome to World Tour Language Series and to program number 8, Spanish program number 8. My name is Mrs. Ada, mi nombre es Doña Ada, and I would like to present the objectives of the lesson. We are going to talk about Indians of Mexico. We're going to have a review of clothing words. Mayan number system, we're going to talk about the Mayan Indians, and lastly we're going to go shopping. We're going to learn some shopping phrases. As always, I like to add some culture to our program, and that's exactly what we're going to do just now. We're going to start talking about the Indians of Mexico, and we're going to ask you to join with me, boys and girls. Sit back, relax, and let's go on a tour into some of the Mexican ruins.
Where can I start? Well, I guess at the beginning. Some 3,000 years ago. Tell me, is there anywhere else in the world where so many lost civilizations existed? Fortunately, much of the lost has been found. We have over 11,000 archaeological sites. Let me take you to some of my favorite ancient haunts. Does this site not stir your soul and pique your imagination? Less than an hour from Mexico City is Teotihuacan, once the most powerful city in the New World. Here there are many pyramids. The biggest is the Pyramid of the Sun, which some say may have taken 20 years to build. Through the heart of a lush Mexican jungle is, for me, the most beautiful ancient site in Mexico, Palenque. High in the mountains of Chiapas state, Palenque is believed to have been the ceremonial center for a great Mayan dynasty. The setting alone is enough to inspire religious belief. Close by is another wonder, the Agua Azul Falls. Water so clear and colorful, it must have been a gift from the gods. Chichen Itza. If you close your eyes and listen, you can almost feel the presence of souls long gone from this earth. Smell the air. Your mind is forced back into time. The earth moves as invisible crowds of people go about their business. But you are never afraid. It is a wondrous experience.
I hope you have enjoyed this visit with me into the ruins of the Indians of Mexico. I would like to show you some civilizations, and the civilization names, you can also find them on the workbook on page 11. And I would like to talk to you a little bit about some of them. We start with the Olmec. This is one of the earliest civilizations of Indians in Mexico. And the Olmecs, they built a city near Veracruz. I hope that you remember the map. There's also a map of Mexico and the different cities in your workbook to follow this. They were the ones responsible for the stone sculptures of human faces. We will see also that in another clip that I will show you later on. There's the Maya Indians, and the Mayans, it is said that their origins were from Guatemala, that little country next to Mexico that we saw in the map. They had a highly developed society. We are going to talk about the Mayas much later, or a little more than this. And I'd like to go down into the Aztecs, because the Aztec, as I said before, they were the last great Indian empire. The Aztecs were the ones who built that beautiful city of Tenochtitlan that we already studied, and it was at that time the largest city in the world. So the Aztecs had a very important role in the making of Mexico. They had a unit more or less like the unit that you find, the family unit that you find nowadays in our Hispanic culture. They had an extended family unit in which husband and wife and unmarried children and the husband's relatives would live together in the same place. They had a language called Nahuatl, and we saw that language in one of our lessons when I spoke about the different languages of different cultures of different places of South America and Central America. They are, as I said, they are very, very important because they had left a strong legacy on Mexican people. Let's go to another Mexican Indian descent, which was the Mexicas. Now, the Mexicas are also known for some of the language of the words that have been left that we use as well in introducing our Spanish language. And we're going to see here some of these examples. Tomati, that's their word, and it became tomate or tomato. And then we have coyote, and that's coyote or coyote in Spanish. See how similar? There we have chocolate, and it's chocolate or chocolate in Spanish. And we have some other words that as we come across, we will keep informing you about. And I hope you have enjoyed this little portion of the culture overall of the Indians. Later on, we are going to select a portion of the Maya to talk about and see some a little clip of their civilization. I'd like to start with our review, and this we can see on workbook page 38 through 40. We're going to start with clothing items again. Los blue jeans. Let's see, this is an important word from the American with the English. Los blue jeans. And we have no translation. We can also say separate blue jeans just like you write it in English, and it's perfectly all right. Then we have una bolsa, which is a purse, una bolsa, or a handbag, una bolsa. And then we have las sandalias. Now, you guess what is that? Yes, muy bien, son las sandalias. Yo llevo las sandalias, the sandals. And then we have, I don't think you can guess, this is quite different, a belt. The belts that you wear to hold your skirt or your pants. It's un cinturón. Un cinturón. See, the CI becomes an S sound, cinturón, and that accent, on cinturón, un cinturón. Please keep watching the articles, feminine and masculine, of these words. It will help if you could learn them by heart as well. We have socks, and watch this. Socks, we have los calcetines or calcetines, and las medias. The reason I added the las medias in Puerto Rico, we say las medias for socks, which also means halves, but las medias, los calcetines, both are correct, the socks. And then we have, I'm sure you're familiar with this one, un sombrero, a hat, un sombrero, a hat, the Mexican sombrero. And then we have un suéter. How about that? A sweater, W-E-A-T-E-R, S-W-E-A-T-R is S-U-E-T-R, sweater. What did we do? We imported it from you, and we did it in our own little way to become an imported Spanish word, suéter. Now that we have gone through these words, I invite you to look at these pictures and see if we can name them. Say them out loud with me, okay? Let's start with the top on the left. What is that? Yes, that's un sombrero. Un sombrero, the top on the left is a hat, sombrero. And then we see here, let's say this is a coat and not a raincoat, but a coat, and we call it fantástico, muy bien. It is un abrigo. Un abrigo. Let's see the next one. The one hanging inside the closet on the left one, at the left side is Un vestido. Muy bien, that is a dress. Un vestido. Now guess the one next to the vestido. Una falda, a skirt. Una falda. Muy bien, mis estudiantes. Let's go to the next one. That blouse. Muy bien, una blusa. Una blusa. And here, let's pretend these are not blue jeans because that would be so easy to say. Let's say this is the pants, a pair of pants. Los pantalones. Muy bien, los pantalones. And then we have this long word, bathing suit. Un traje de baño. Un traje de baño. And since we are very good at this already because we have mostly all the clothing words, let's see this one on the right-hand side. It's a purse. Very good. Very good. And how about the one after the purse? Now tell me both words. Very good. So it's una bolsa is the purse, and los calcetines is the socks. And what was the other word I told you that I myself use? Las medias. Very good. Muy bien. And lastly, it's down here. What would you call these? Would you call them? I would call them the sandals. Las sandalias. Las sandalias. That is very good. So we have gone through ladies' dresses and ladies' clothing. Let's go to a men's clothing. Very good. Now, I believe this is a raincoat. So let's say it is un impermeable. It's just almost like the French one. Un impermeable. And then down on the floor, almost tilting towards the closet, we have un paraguas. Now, do you recall the other word for paraguas? For the umbrella? We call it una sombrilla. Una sombrilla. And we use that in Puerto Rico. Una sombrilla. And then inside the closet, we start with the left item. It's very good. Unos pantalones. And then what do we have next? Exactly. Una camisa. Now remember, men wear shirt and ladies wear the blouse, according to what we're learning here. It doesn't necessarily have to be so, but so here we have a shirt and it's una camisa. And next to la camisa we have, that was very good, my students, very good, muy bien, los blue jeans, los blue jeans. And then we have a t-shirt and it's la camiseta. Or you can say una camiseta, camiseta. And then we have that word that we imported from the English language, un suéter, un suéter. And outside here we have, again, el sombrero, un sombrero. And we have not learned that one that is there. We will see it later on, but let's go to the floor. What do we have on the floor here? We have los zapatos, or un par de zapatos. And then we have the belt, un cinturón, un cinturón. Now, I would invite you to please look. We have pictures of clothing in our workbook between page 38 through 40. Follow them. Read them out loud, go into your closet and start looking at your clothing and start saying the word. It is very handy to practice these words. So when you go shopping, you can also know these words in Spanish and share them with your friends. I would like to, as I promised, to talk a little bit about this particular civilization in Mexico. It's called the Maya. The Maya, see? Maya, we can say Maya or Maya. And now, I said that the Mayas were a very important civilization, and they had a very, organized society. And the reason I say that is because we're going to learn about their numbers. They were the ones who were so preoccupied with time and order they plotted the movements of the planets and the sun and the moon very accurately. To the Maya, time was circular. And they thought that you will return to the same place in time and space when you complete a circle. They were absolutely right. I want to share with you a little clip of the Maya civilization that we have for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it will be useful in your class, in the Spanish language class.
The ancient Maya Indians inhabited the area around southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and western Honduras and El Salvador. During the pinnacle of their civilization, which lasted from about 300 to 900 AD, they built splendid stone temples like this one at Tikal, carved intricate sculptures of their kings wearing feathered and jeweled costumes, and painted elaborate mythological scenes on pottery vessels. These great artists and thinkers inhabited a land largely formed from ancient seabeds, which today takes the form of limestone. Water draining through fractures in limestone will, over thousands of years, dissolve so much of it away that caves and sinkholes are formed. Because of these geological conditions, much of the Maya area abounds in caves, some quite small, perhaps not much bigger than your living room, but the largest cave in the Maya area reaches about 10 miles in length. That's about 10 minutes of driving on the freeway at high speed. The Maya held caves in great esteem. They were sacred places where they worshipped their ancient gods. They made perilous journeys to explore these caves so that they might perform their religious ceremonies and bring valuable objects, such as pottery vessels, as ritual offerings.
I hope you have enjoyed this little clip of the Mayas. I'd like to share with you that the Mayas had such a preoccupation with chronology and numbers that they inherited from the Olmec civilization the development of their arithmetic. And so I would like to show you that how they developed this number system. They used dots and bars, and the concept of zero was symbolized by a shell. So let's start with number 1. This is number 1, and it's a dot, and we go to number 2, and then 2 dots, and we go to number 3. And you see how simple and how much sense it makes. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And then the 5, it's a bar. And we can see the 5 there, 1 bar. And then, of course, if you add a 5 and a dot, it makes 6. So it's 6, and then 2 dots makes 7. And then 3 dots will make 8. Fantastic, see? And we have 9. It's 4 dots and 1 bar. And then, of course, they count in 5s. They have 2 bars for number 10. 5 and 5. And they follow that, adding a dot. It's 11. And then they go to 12. 2 dots and 2 bars. And they go to 13. 3 dots and 2 bars, 10 plus 3, and then 10 plus 4. Let's see, can you count this in Spanish? 14. There you go, 14. Let's see, 3 bars makes 15, 15. 15. 3 bars makes 15. And 3 bars and 1 dot makes, how about that in Spanish? Say it out loud. Muy bien. 16, 16, 16. So we have 16, and then we go 5, 5, 5, 5, and 2. It makes 17, 17, 17. And this is a good practice in Spanish again. Let's go to the next one and see how you say 18 in Spanish. How would you say 18? You say 18 with 3 dots and 3 bars. 3 dots and 3 bars makes 18. And finally, 3 bars and 4 dots makes, how much is that in Spanish? 19. 19. And we have 4 bars that makes, let's add it up in Spanish, please. 5, 5, 5, 5 makes 20. 20. 20. So there you have it. Use these symbols also to practice your Spanish numbers. It comes very, very handy. I would like at this point to talk about going shopping. To go shopping. And we're going to go very slowly here because these are very useful phrases. We have this in the workbook on page 42. So if you please open your workbook on page 42 and let's go shopping. Ir de compras. Now let's pause here. Ir is the verb to go. De compras. Compras comes from the verb action word comprar. See, we have 2 verbs here, only that one verb, comprar, becomes, at this time, comes another word. And it's ir de compras, to go shopping. And to ir de compras, we need several phrases in order to shop. And we say, how much is it? And how much are they? So for it or they, we can use the same phrase. And I wrote down, as you see, 2 phrases. Both mean the same. How much is it and how much are they? And you can say the first phrase like this. ¿Cuánto es? ¿Cuánto es? And you can say also, ¿cuánto vale? ¿Cuánto vale? Let's just pause on these 2 phrases for a little while. ¿Cuánto es means how much. ¿Cuánto is how much is it? ¿Cuánto vale is also how much is it or how much are they? Both means the same. But I wanted to call your attention on the word vale. Vale is the cost of something. And also vale, if you go to Spain, they use that word as when the same way as we would use in English, okay. I agree with you. In that way, we use the word vale. So when you go to a place and you say, for example, I would like a glass of water, they say vale. And they are agreeing with you or saying, okay. So you see those words, they're very useful to learn, and even if you don't really know exactly when and how to use it, when you hear them, it will come back to you and you will be able to put them in the right place. So ¿cuánto es? Y ¿cuánto vale? Means how much is it or how much are they? And you say then, answer un centavo. If it's 1 cent, I doubt it that you find an item that costs only 1 cent. But then when it's many cents, centavos. Centavo, centavo. See, cents, it sounds a little bit like in English, cents. Centavo, centavos. Now, cent, you see the S, the C and the E together. We go back again and again to that. It has an S sound. Centavo, centavos. And so we continue shopping, and of course we're maybe not going to find something of un centavo, but maybe of un dólar. Un dólar, a dollar. Or maybe many dollars, some more than $1. So you say dólares. So now that you know those numbers in Spanish, let's say un dólar, and how would you say $3? $3. $3. How would you say? I would say $9. Right, you say $9. So I would say ¿cuánto es? ¿Cuánto vale? And they would answer $9. And you may probably answer something like this. Es muy caro. Es muy caro. Or if the item is feminine, you say es muy cara. What would that mean? That means it's very expensive. It's very expensive. So you say es muy caro. Oh no, es muy caro. Or es muy cara. And you can also don't agree and say no, es muy caro. No, es muy cara. And so you use those phrases to go shopping. They're very useful. And we can practice with money by looking at this that I have chosen here. In page 41, you can also work with this. It's 19 cents. How would you say 19 cents? Very good. Muy bien, mis estudiantes. You would say 19 centavos. 19 centavos. 19 centavos. And how would you say the next one? Let's see, how would you say this one? $10, you would say, very good, muy bien, $10. $10. Now notice I don't have an accent in the E. I have been asked again and again, how come it's so strong and yet you don't? Because it ends on a Z and makes it already strong enough. So it's $10. $10. And so, my students, I hope that you have learned today's lesson on shopping spree, and write to me about it. I have some things that I would like to share with you that I hope that you enjoy knowing about this. These are language facts, and maybe you know these words and you never have thought about it. We have suéter that we talked about. Now, we borrow that from English language. Then we have another one we borrow, fútbol. And we say football, football. And we say baseball, baseball. And we say jonrón. Now, guess what is jonrón? That's my favorite. That's home run. Home run. So when you watch baseball and there's a home run, you say, oh, un jonrón, un jonrón. So I tell you there are many, many languages, many words in the Spanish language. I like to just leave you at this and say adiós, hasta mañana.